Mulasatra is often regarded as a groundbreaking philosopher in the field of Islamic metaphysics due to his distinctive perspective on existence. His philosophical stance is rooted in Ibn Sina's ideas concerning the distinction between necessary and contingent being. According to Satra, God is the source of existence, bestowing a wealth of existence upon possible entities. Hi, I'm Angga Rifka. In this preliminary episode, we are going to discuss Satra's philosophical perspective on the primacy of existence. To delve deeper into Mulasatra's thoughts, it's essential first to explore the nature of existence or isness and how it differs from essence or whatness. When we inquire about the true nature of things, the response we receive pertains to their quantity or essence. For instance, defining a tree involves describing its quantity. Therefore, every external entity can be broken down into two aspects. One is its existence, as we perceive that it exists and is present, and the other is its essence and distinguishing characteristics. These characteristics are used to define the entity and provide answers to questions like, what is it? This latter aspect is referred to as quantity. We always make a clear distinction between two fundamental aspects of what we talk about: the existence or isness of something and the essence or quantity or whatness of something. To illustrate, we acknowledge the existence of human and tree, yet human possess a specific meaning and essence, as does tree. If we ask, what is a human? We receive a certain response, and the answer to what is a tree is distinct from the former. Furthermore, if we pose the question, is there a human? The response differs yet again. This distinction underscores that existence or isness is a distinct concept from quantity, whatness. The conceptual difference between existence, wujud, and quantity, mahiyya, at this point then becomes important because it is the key to understanding the nature of reality. The importance of the difference between the two is emphasized by Toshihiko Izutsu as follows. Quote, the distinction between quantity and existence is undoubtedly one of the most basic philosophical theses in Islamic thought. Without exaggeration, the distinction may be said to constitute the first step in ontological metaphysical thinking among Muslims. It provides the very foundation on which is built up the whole structure of Muslim metaphysics. In spite of the fact that everything has a quantity and an existence, we know that considering its external realization, it is only one thing and cannot be more than that. For example, we can only see a tree or a human before our eyes, rather than both the existence of the tree and the tree itself, or the existence of human and the human himself. This is because every external thing, that is, the realized and existing thing, is only one thing rather than two. Therefore, the realization of things is through either their quantity or their existence, and it is only one of them that is principle, with the other being only its shadow that man's intellect abstracts from the other. In reality, there should be no thing that has two primacies. Therefore, one of these two things must be objective and primary. The question then arising is, which of the two is principle, existence or quantity? In response to that question, Muslim peripatetic philosophers like Ibn Sina and Sufis argue that quantity is only an accident, only a mental abstraction, and that which is primary and principle is existence. Ishraqi philosophers, especially Suhrawardi, argue the opposite, that existence is only an abstract formulation obtained by the mind from external entities, and it is only an accident, while quantity is principle. Suhrawardi believes that the most fundamental aspect of reality is the essence or nature of things. In his view, quantity or essence comes first. According to Suhrawardi, the essence of something, which is like its inner nature or core identity, comes before its actual existence. Before anything exists in the world, it has an essential nature that defines what it is. In other words, in the world, whether it's a physical object, a concept, or even a person, has an inner essence. This essence defines what something fundamentally is, its core identity, and the qualities that make it unique. According to Suhrawardi, before anything comes into existence in the material world, it has an essential nature that exists independently. This essential nature is like a blueprint or template for that thing, containing all the characteristics that make it what it is. Before any actual roses exist in the world, there is the essence of a rose. This essence includes all the defining characteristics of a rose: its fragrance, its red or pink petals, its thorns, and the way it symbolizes love and beauty. Now, when an actual rose comes into existence in the material world, it is a manifestation of that pre-existing essence. The rose that you can see, touch, and smell is the physical realization of the rose's essence. Suhrawardi also introduces the idea of the lights of lights, which represents the highest reality and the source of all existence. These lights emanate various levels of reality, each with its unique essence. These essences shape the existence of individual beings in the material world. In Suhrawardi's philosophy, the essence of the rose is connected to a higher reality represented by the light of lights. This higher reality is the source of the rose's essence, and all roses in the world are connected to this source. This philosophical view is known as Asolatul Mahiyya, the primacy of quantity. Mulla Sadra in his first life followed his master's philosophical view, Mir Damot, like the Ishraqi philosophers, but later opposed such a philosophical view. Mulla Sadra's apprehension that existence is principle and quantity is just an accident is that which is called Asolatul Wujud, the primacy of existence. To understand Sadra's notion of the primacy of existence, it is essential to first grasp the prevailing philosophical context of his time. Islamic philosophy had long been influenced by the works of ancient Greek philosophers, particularly Aristotle and his concept of essence or form and existence. According to the Aristotelian tradition, an object's essence and existence were distinct, with essence defining the intrinsic nature of a thing, while existence represented its external realization. Sadra, however, departs from this Aristotelian framework. He argues that existence is not something separate from essence, but rather its defining aspect. In other words, for Sadra, existence is not a mere accident or an external attribute added to an essence. Instead, existence constitutes the very essence of a thing. Sadra's assertion of the primacy of existence can be understood through this simple instance. Consider a chair. In the Aristotelian view, the chair's essence would be its abstract form, the blueprint of what a chair should be, while its existence would be the physical instantiation of that form, the actual chair in the world. In contrast, Sadra would argue that the essence of the chair is, in fact, its existence. The chair's existence is not something added to it, but is inherent to its being. If the chair was stripped of its existence, it would cease to be a chair altogether. Sadra argues and proves that quantity is secondary as follows. First, each quantity is different from other quantities. Tree quantity is completely different from green quantity. In this case, each has nothing in common. If there is no reality which can unite the different quantities and combine them, we cannot predicate one quantity to another in a proposition. Therefore, one basic reality is needed to combine various quantities. That basic reality is existence. Second, any quantity qua quantity, meaning without existence, cannot have an effect. We consider something to have an effect simply because it exists. Therefore, what is basic or fundamental and the source of effect is existence, not quantity. Third, quantity itself is neutral in terms of intensity and weakness, or its prior and posterior. That is, regardless of existence, quantity is neither intense nor weak, neither prior nor posterior. But we see it in external existence as a prior, some intense like causes and some weak like effects. If existence is not considered basic and real, then we must consider quantity, which has no attributes, as the source of attributes. But it is impossible for something that has no attribute to be an attribute giver. Existence is a reality that seems obvious and is so conspicuous in our apprehension. It doesn't need to be defined and described. Someone usually defines and knows something through its essence, but that which is called existence has no essence because it is something that crosses various differences between reference and manifestations. In this case, Sartre states that existence is not a genus or class of something, nor is existence the kind of universal to which particular individuals refer. Existence is something that doesn't require demonstration. It's self-evident and universally perceived either through our innate apprehension or existential experience. Nothing is more apparent than existence, and everything is perceived through the lens of existence. The instincts of every living being show that existence, both theirs and that of the world around them, is fundamental. There is no precise definition for existence. It's grasped through intuition and personal feelings. The very reality of existence fills our world, although sometimes we may only grasp the concept of existence in our minds. It's important not to confuse this concept with the actual external existence, because they have different characteristics and can lead to confusion. While we can refer to existence as a thing, it grants existence to everything, making each thing exist. This is why existence is often likened to light. Just as light illuminates and distinguishes objects, existence makes each thing distinct amidst others. Existence itself is only one thing, but the quantities of things in the world are of different types. Inanimate objects, plants, animals, and humans are all distinct, each with specific boundaries and characteristics that define their essence and reality. Each thing has a unique mode or pattern known as its quantity in philosophical terms. Existence can be understood from two angles. On one hand, we abstract the concept of existence from the presence of objects in the world, acknowledging that these objects, despite their differences, share a common attribute, that is, existence. In our everyday perception, we might mistakenly think that the true nature of objects is their quantity rather than their existence. Consequently, we might say that existence is derived from the existence of objects. On the other hand, if we examine objects philosophically, we realize that existence is not a mental construct but a fundamental reality. Upon closer examination, we comprehend that it is actually the essence or quantity of objects that exists in the realm of the mind, constantly shaped by it and abstracted from the actual existence of external things. Consequently, quantity doesn't always depend on existence and is not inherently linked to it. To put it differently, quantity in and of itself neither exists nor doesn't exist. It simply is. In philosophical terms, we need to understand that quantity is not always connected to the real external existence and its effects. The truth of everything lies in its capacity to produce effects, and these effects stem from their existence. Many of the quantities we conceive in our minds, expressed in writing or speech, are created within us and lacked the effect of an external reality. Thus, they haven't been actualized yet. Mulasatra argues that if quantity isn't always in a constant relationship with existence, it cannot be considered the primary reason for the existence of external entities. Instead, he points out that external realities, not mental ones, exist independently and don't require another existence to be real. This is because existence is an intrinsic feature, not an accidental one. In simpler terms, existence exists in and of itself, not through something else. Quantities, on the other hand, need existence to become real. Essentially, existence is not something that happens to quantity. Rather, quantity, like a mental mold or a linguistic and conventional common, clothes the external realized existence. Existence encompasses everything, that is to say, existence is necessary and therefore principal. So existence is the most obvious one. So clear is existence, nothing can be clearer than it. Therefore, defining existence is difficult and burdensome, if not impossible. This is because to define an object, something clearer than the object defined is needed, and unfortunately there is nothing clearer than existence. It's the clearest thing that just comes to our mind. Sartre's revolutionary perspective has far-reaching implications for Islamic metaphysics. It not only challenges the Aristotelian tradition but also offers a profound reinterpretation of the nature of God, reality, and human existence. In Sartre's ontology, God, often referred to as the necessary being, Wajibul Wujud, is the foundation of all existence. Unlike finite beings, God's essence and existence are identical. In other words, God's very essence is existence itself. This concept, known as Wahdatul Wujud, holds that there is no distinction between God's essence and existence, making God the source and sustainer of all reality. Sartre's idea of the primacy of existence also had significant implications for human existence and self-realization. According to him, human beings are not static entities with fixed essences, but dynamic beings whose existence continuously evolves and unfolds. Human existence is a journey of self-discovery and self-realization where individuals strive to align their essence with their existence. In doing so, they draw closer to the divine and fulfill their ultimate purpose. Moreover, Sartre's philosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of all existence. In his view, everything in the cosmos is interconnected through the common thread of existence or wujud. This interconnectedness highlights the inherent unity of all things, underscoring the idea that nothing exists in isolation. If you like what I do, please like and share my videos. And if you want to help me out, you can donate via PayPal or become a patron, but no pressure to do that. Thanks for watching.